everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be an original book tag that I just created. We're going to be calling it the Imagine If book tag. So essentially, on post-its of 2 different colors, on the yellow one I wrote book titles, and then on the blue ones, authors' names. And we're going to imagine if the book created would be better than the original one, or if we want to stick to the original one. Maybe for some of these I'll even have suggestions of even better author, because it doesn't mean that the book isn't good already. It's just that maybe it would be a different interesting concept. So that would be fun. Hope you participate in the comment section. Feel free to recreate this tag on your channel if you have one. Let's do this. Okay, so I'm a little nervous, but I'm hopeful. Let's hope to try to find a couple really good new version of certain books. So imagine if The Black Prism by Brent Weeks had been written instead by Nicholas Sparks, the author of the Notebook. I can't, no, I can't imagine it. I mean, no. That's going to be a strong no for me. There's no way. I can't imagine that being good. So imagine if Six of Crows had instead been written by Brandon Sanderson. Yes, 100%. 100% I would read that. Yeah. I feel like people really care for Six of Crows because of the characters, not so much for the action. And I feel like if Brandon Sanderson were to rewrite it, it would be the opposite. I feel like he has improved a ton with this characterization, but I still feel like Lee Bardugo would probably be stronger with that. So it would make for a really different version of it, and I'm all for it. So I'm saying yes. Feel free to vote in the comment section if you agree or disagree with me. Next, imagine if The Midnight Library by Matt Haig had instead been written by Khaled Hosseini. He's not really a fantasy sci-fi author. He's definitely more of a contemporary, but I would be interested in seeing his version. I'm gonna go with maybe. It's not gonna be our best book that we're gonna create, but it could be interesting. I don't think that's actually gonna work out though. So I'm gonna go with yeah. Imagine if Cersei by Madeline Miller had instead been written by Sarah J. Maas. No, she would ruin it. I'm sorry. I don't want to see any fairy porn in Cersei. I'm gonna go with no. No, I'm sorry, no. Instead, imagine, oh no, if Attachments by Rowell had instead been written by Hanya Yanagihara. I'm sorry, H has always tripped me out. The author of A Little Life. I'm gonna go with maybe. I feel like if she changed it completely, she could probably make it work. But it would be a huge accomplishment. It's just not necessary. I'm gonna go with it wouldn't be the worst thing, but I think she should spend her time doing something else, really. Instead, let's imagine if You had instead be written by Octavia E Butler. Gosh, no. I mean, I'm sure she could make it somewhat interesting, but I don't want to see her do that. She's definitely one of my new favorite authors. She writes really interesting sci-fi, but no. I would prefer seeing her do anything but that, really. But imagine if someone like Gillian Flynn were to rewrite You. Obviously, the main character would become a woman, but I would be a lot more interested in that. I grabbed 2 authors accidentally. Imagine if Pride and Prejudice had been written by Jane Austen. Okay, I'm gonna put back Jane Austen in there. What were the chances of that happening? Instead, imagine if Pride and Prejudice had been written by, or had to be rewritten by, Stuart Turton, the author of The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. I'm gonna go with no. I mean, he writes mystery thrillers also, and no. We're gonna keep Mr. Darcy and Lizzie the same. I don't want whatever that would be. No. Instead, let's imagine if The Martian by Andy Weir had to be rewritten by R.F. Kuang, the author of The Pocky War. I don't know how she feels about writing sci-fi, but I'm gonna go with no. I don't think she wouldn't be able to make it interesting, but I don't really want to see it happen. So I'm going to go with no. Instead, let's imagine that Miss Bourne by Brandon Sanderson instead had been written or were to be rewritten by Stephanie Meyer. No. No. I mean, I would love to see her attempt it, but really, no. I don't think that's fair. I feel like the world building is definitely the strength of that series. I love it, and I don't think that would work out. No. No. Instead, oh gosh, imagine if Normal People had been written by Jane Austen. You know what? I would prefer that version. I don't know if it would be actually that good, but I feel like she always gives people happy endings, like the romances, and I'm not sure the Normal People really would be doing that for me. I'm gonna put it in the meh. I feel like it would be better than the original to me, but I still don't really want to see that happening, so no. Imagine if Bird Box were to be rewritten by Andy Weir. I feel like there would have to be changes because he usually writes people trying to survive with their wits in space. But if he were to make an exception, maybe? I'm not opposed to it. I'm not sure how good it would be. He doesn't really write anything horror, really. So it's going to be in the meh. It's not the worst idea, but it's not the best one. So far, we only have one that seems really good, which it's Brandon Sanderson. So I feel like pretty much anything I would have picked, I would have loved to see his version of it. So that doesn't really count. Instead, imagine if Game of Thrones were to be rewritten by Erin Morgenstern. No. No. They both write at the same speed, though. But it's going to be a no for me. No. I think some of you might be intrigued by that version, but no. I don't want to read anything else by the author at this point, but I think some of you would actually like that. Next, imagine if Dune, oh no, had to be rewritten by J.R.R. Martin, the author of Game of Thrones. I mean, I could see that happening. There would probably be a lot more like twisty, like people dying kind of thing. So I'm gonna go with sure. I don't think I would really want to reread Dune, but maybe. I'm not opposed to that one. I feel like I could see that happening. Imagine if the selection were to be rewritten by Madeline Miller. Oh gosh, that is cruel to her. I can't imagine her, like, even if she made it into, like, her style, like, mythology. When would mythology really include, like, a reality TV show, kind of, love triangle? But you know what? I'm gonna go with maybe. I think it's just curiosity at this point. It would be cruel to her, but I would, maybe there's some type of myth that is somewhat similar that she could make it kind of like that. So I'm gonna go with yes. You may judge me on that one, but I would be curious. A little cruel, but I would be curious. Next, imagine if the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo were to be rewritten by Dan Brown. I'm gonna go with resounding no. I don't see what kind of research they could really. No, it wouldn't. It really doesn't work with his usual style. So no. Imagine if The Night Circus had to be rewritten by V.E. Schwab. Yes, I would. Because, like, my problem with The Night Circus was I loved the world, but I had been told that this was going to be, like, a battle between 2 magicians, which wasn't really. So I think that would be really interesting to see what V. Schwab would do with it. So I'm going to go with yes. It would make for a completely different book, but I'm saying yes. Imagine if A Little Life were to be rewritten by, I'm not sure who could rewrite this. Patrick Rothfuss. No. No. I mean, I'm assuming you would add like fantasy elements and like, I feel like what I really liked from the first book was the magical school and the magic system. So I feel like that would make it too different from A Little Life to really be able to do anything. I really liked the characters in A Little Life, which I don't think Patrick Rothfuss would really do for me. So I'm gonna go with no. Imagine if Outlander were to be rewritten by Bright Weeks. No, the author of Black Prism. No. I'm assuming there would be just as many R scenes, sexual assault, but we're gonna skip all of that. All of it. That's a no for me. Imagine if Gone Girl were to be rewritten by Gillian twice. Gillian Flynn. Why? What were the chances? 2 authors. I mean, I guess there's only like 30 of each or something, so it's not. Okay, Gone Girl rewritten by Becky Chambers. No, I can't imagine Becky Chambers writing really horrible characters like her husband in Gone Girl. Not her, of course. But like just really morally great characters. I like how wholesome her stories are, so I'm gonna go with no. I don't know. No, come on, no. Imagine if the Court of Thorns and Roses had to be rewritten by Gillian Flynn. Fuck yes. She would hate it though, because it's a fantasy. But even if I don't know if she could actually make this contemporary-ish, but if she were to try it, which she'd probably hate doing, I would read the crap out of this. I would read the crap out of it. Yes, 100% yes. I'm torturing her, but it's worth it. Yeah, I would. I would totally read this. Imagine if The Hunger Games were to be rewritten. Oh, I have to. It were to be rewritten by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Yes, I would. I don't know what he would do with it. I'm assuming he would still keep the overall concept. I feel like his stories are not very character driven. It's definitely just about the concept and the world building, but I would be curious. I don't think it's going to be the best we create, but I would read it. Yeah, I would. Imagine if The Last Wish, the first book in The Witcher, were to be rewritten by Stephen King. Well, I'm assuming the female characters would all be written in a similar fashion. I mean, I guess he could, but I would have no interest in reading it. So, yeah. Imagine if Twilight. Of course, we had Stephanie Meyer. We needed Twilight somewhere. Imagine if it had to be rewritten by Michael Crichton, the author of Jurassic Park. No. No, maybe it would be more popular with some people if it had dinosaurs, but it usually tends to have like a lot of science in his books, and I can't imagine him recreating Twilight. Listen, Twilight had a lot of issues, but it was readable, and I can't imagine him. No, I don't even want to imagine his version. It's a no. Imagine if The Raven Boys had to be rewritten by N.K. Jemisin. I don't think it's really your cup of tea, but I'm not opposed to it. I feel like The Raven Boys, who I would want to rewrite it, would be Madeline Miller. I think she would probably focus on like Persephone, like her aunt. I don't know why I put an H in there. I would want her to rewrite that or write that. But even though it's not really mythology, but I'm sure she would make it good anyway. But N.K. Jemisin would probably fix some of my issues with The Raven Boys. I think we all liked the characters, but like the concept wasn't that interesting, and I feel like N.K. Jemisin would make it interesting. It would definitely be more fantasy, less magical realism, you know? And this is it. No more authors, no more books. I hope you enjoyed this fun little book tag. I feel like if I were to refilm this, even with the same authors and books, it would make for a completely different video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up, subscribe. Please let me know in the comment section if you agree or disagree with my answers. I will be putting more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I will see an upcoming video very soon. Bye.